Welcome to TheHub, a podcast with the purpose of creating awareness, education, and engagement between the consumer base and colleagues. Good morning and welcome back to TheHub. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Mrs. Kassandra Carrazco. Welcome, Cass.
Thanks for having me.
You guys know Kassandra from the real estate world. She has been a real estate agent for, you're going on a decade. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. You'll be celebrating a decade next year.
I know. Yeah. I can't believe it. It feels like it just started like a few years ago.
Time flies. Yeah. Like they say, time flies when you're having fun. And 4 to 5 years with us at the Realty Agency, right? So, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. I actually invited Kassandra on to talk about her new venture, diving into entrepreneurship in a different industry.
Completely different world. Yes. Nothing that I have experience in. Some people would say I'm crazy, but I'm excited.
I don't think you're crazy. So, and this is an honor to me because this is the first time you are going to openly talk about this. I think you might have mentioned it softly in your
Instagram story, but I have not discussed it online at all. People in my life, everyone in the office knows, but I have not talked about it online at all.
Well, even myself, we know we know what's coming, but we don't know the details. So I'm very excited to be the first to question you and get the 411 on what you're working on. So guys, this beautiful logo that you see right here, Cass, let's dive right in and tell us what you are working on.
So I'm working on starting a brick and mortar coffee shop with my husband. He's had since 2019 a mobile coffee cart, and that's been his baby. I have not been involved at all. I've been focusing on real estate, and the beginning of this year we decided this is the year. I've had my time to shine. I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish.
And you have shined.
There's more that I want to accomplish. I'm not done with real estate at all. But we decided this is the year that we're finally going to take this dream that's kind of been in the back burner and move it forward and get the ball rolling. And
so you called it a brick and what?
A brick and mortar. So having a storefront or a place to go, because the mobile coffee business, he's done corporate events, he's done weddings, he's done pop-ups, but we haven't had our own shop. So that's coming very soon.
So you guys are working on opening a new coffee shop. Tell us what it's going to be called.
So it's called CreationCoffeeCo. That's the name that we've always had, and so we're just going to stick with that. There's several people that know who we are, especially in the coffee community in Yuma, which is very small. People know us, but Yuma doesn't know us, and the real estate world doesn't know us. So we're finally taking it, on a much bigger stage.
Yeah, that's exciting. Congratulations to both of you guys. You already are an entrepreneur. You're already independent in the real estate world, so you already know what that takes, but it takes a lot of courage to dive into a new industry. And, and you guys have tapped into it, for years now, but this is going to be fun. I'm excited for you. I'm proud of you. She brought me a coffee, and guys, it is, it's delicious. Cheers. I'm trying the brown sugar, and it is delicious. He must have known that it's my favorite because brown sugar is my go-to. Yeah, he just got the vibe, right? So there's obviously we all know the popular coffee brands that are in every corner, but and from somebody who didn't drink coffee for the first 28 years of her life. Actually, I just recently posted a story on my social media. I went to try a new coffee spot, and I was like, what was I missing for 28 years of my life? I didn't try my first, I think I had tried it, but I didn't drink coffee until I had my daughter. And people laugh about that because they think I needed it. But no, it was just a craving during pregnancy, and then I couldn't have a lot of it. And then after I had her, I became a coffee person.
Yeah, and I just stuck.
Yeah, which before I would, my family or, my sisters would be let's go get coffee. And I'd be like, no, thank you, I'll have a water. And I understood, at 28, 29, it added something to me personally, like it's like now it's like a part of the day. Showing up to the office without a coffee is weird to me. Yeah, like my first couple hours of the day without a coffee, whatever I'm doing, it's like I'm missing something. Yeah. So, and I can only imagine that might be, you know, that's what I mean when I say I understood it then, that that might be a popular feeling, right? Because I do see, you know, different, I guess I could call them craft coffee shops, you know, that pop up, and all of them different, right? Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about what is it, like, in your opinion, what is it about coffee, you know, that makes it like almost like a need, like a, you know, like a part of your life? What is it?
So ironically enough, I was the same way. I still am the same way as you. Like, I'm not a huge coffee person. I just know how to appreciate it because of my husband. But honestly, I can drink Circle K coffee. I can drink specialty
like, just give me
coffee.
The caffeine.
Just give me the caffeine. But that addiction, one, it's addicting. But also, I think a big part for me, just like you were saying with, you know, it's a part of the day. The beautiful thing about coffee is, like, it's that little luxury that is attainable. You know, we all want, like, luxury in our daily life. But having that coffee, especially if it's good coffee, because we don't all have that luxury. Not everyone has a barista at home like me.
I know, lucky you.
I know, but sometimes I still, you know, I'll pop through the Starbucks drive-thru and order a coffee, and it's just like, you know, I can start my day. Or even if it's like the middle of the day, it's like, finally. So it's that little treat. But with our new venture is starting that coffee shop, that brick and mortar, for me, because like I said, I can drink Circle K coffee and I'm happy. The biggest thing that's important to me, and my husband's his answer is gonna be different because he's the coffee guy. He's the expert in all of that.
And maybe someday we'll have him on too, once you guys have opened.
Totally. His answer would be different, but mine is the fact that a coffee shop is that third space. It's so important. It's what adds that, like, quality of life to so many of us. And in Yuma, there's such a lack of third spaces. So your home is your first space. Your work is your second space. It's where you spend the most time, right? Home and work. And then that third place, where do you go when you want to hang out with your friends, but your house is a mess, you know? Or where do you go after work where you're not ready to go home quite yet, but you don't want to go to the bar? Where do you go? A lot of people, their third space is the library or the park or, you know, these public places. But in the evening, those are closed. Or in the summer, it's too hot. So that's why a lot of coffee shops here in Yuma, they're so popular, because it's a place to go that's outside of your primary spaces.
You know what? I have never seen it that way. And it is so true. And you're actually opening up a shop, which means that not only are you providing the product that sometimes we go and consume and take to our third space, you called it,
or our first space, our second space.
And I love that. I love the way that you define that. But you're providing the space there, so you have the product that we will consume and the space to do so. And, you know, create memories and, you know, I don't know, business meetings and we do all kinds of stuff. At coffee shops. So see, everybody has their why, right? But we don't know until we ask. So that's beautiful. I love that third space. I'm going to add that to my vocabulary. So you must have a vision for this third space that you're creating. Do you want to tell us about your vision? What are we to expect?
So, excuse me. So my vision for the third space, of course, is a high quality coffee product. In Yuma, we have a lot of great coffee shops, but with having a coffee snob as a husband, I've learned, like, okay, what's really, really good coffee, and the quality that goes behind it, down to the type of bean, the origin of the bean, the type of roast, how long it's roasted for, at what temperatures, how it's grinded, and then how, you know, the espresso machine, how long is the shot, how hot is the water. It's a science, which, like, I could not go into all of that, But
I already have like a ton of questions that I probably shouldn't go into either.
It's a whole science, and I leave that up to the expert.
Yeah.
But because of all of that, like every little thing, Nabil, that we are going to be providing, like it's down to the origin of like, where is this coming from? Yeah. How good of quality is it? And then throughout the process, before it gets into this cup and given to our customer, all of it is thought through. So that's one thing you can expect is like a super high quality product, a type of coffee that you cannot find elsewhere. Not to brag, but I have been to some of the best coffee shops in the world, like Italian coffee, British coffee, French coffee. And I feel like that's the type of product that we're going to be bringing to Yuma. So like that's another reason why I'm so passionate about it, is because it's good stuff.
Yeah.
But back to the third space, and the reason why I'm so excited and why I'm partnering with my husband is...
Girl, you already are partners. You're married.
I know. You're partnering in business, because I've been doing my own thing, and he's been doing his own thing. And now we're like, okay, let's bring it together. Is the design and the you know, that welcoming environment and that aesthetic that you just want to come and sit and spend all day. We want to create that for people. And then also, you know, to differentiate ourselves, we are planning to be open late, which is something, you know, I think Starbucks is like the only coffee shop that's open late. Yeah, which I don't know about you. I can go to Starbucks and work, but I don't want to go to Starbucks and hang out with my friends, or not that I'm going on dates, but like I wouldn't. Well, I would hope not. I date my husband. I don't want to go like on a date to Starbucks. No shade to Starbucks. They're probably never gonna watch this, but but yes, like I want to go somewhere
vibey.
Have some good coffee, or like a really good like pastry. You know, I think there's a few places that offer that, but just something unique. And like this beautiful space where you feel like no one's gonna kick you out, or they're like watching you like, when are you leaving?
So no disrespect to any of your competitors, and I have questions about that here in a minute, but what you're bringing to town is unlike what we already have. So you're defining a more moody vibe. I'm feeling open late, right?
Yeah.
Something I can't think of that we have a
I don't know
like
about moody, if I would call it moody quite yet, because I mean we finally identified a location, which I'm gonna keep that hush for now.
Yeah, I won't ask you.
But like now that we have that location, I love interior design. I love to decorate. Maybe one day when I grow up, I'll like start a little interior design business on the side. But this is like, that's going to be my passion project, is making this place beautiful. Down to like the fabrics and the cushions and the weight of the bistro tables, all of that is... I forgot. I've lost
knowing you, Cass, your attention to detail is going to be to the T. So I can, whatever the vibe is, you know, which maybe I'm reading it wrong, but I'm excited. And you don't have to tell us exactly.
It's going to be a luxe vibe. Yes, but when I think moody, I think like dark. So I don't know if it's going to be dark. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know yet. So you don't have to tell us all. But what would be your projected establishment date, would you say? When
we're looking at the beginning of the year. I would have loved to be open by the holidays, but it's just not realistic with like sourcing product and all.
And
that
you
stuff.
should not rush something like that.
Totally.
So, but beginning of the year, that time flies. So it's going to be like holidays already here, coming up, and you know it's going to be in no.
And I'm already planning Christmas 2025, like how it's going to look like in the shop. That's already in the works.
How exciting! I love it. So I have a couple of questions. When you talk about the origin, and you talk about origin and roast and temperature, things that I do not think about when I go to order a cup of coffee anywhere I go. Like this is like the first time that I'm like, oh yeah, that's got to be right a thing. So can I ask where the bean that you use? What's the origin? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, there's different blends. I think that's a Daniel question, but I think we finally have... I know he brought this in left. I think we finally have a close concept to what our signature blend is going to be, which it's a blend. I think it's like Ethiopian and Nicaraguan, something like that. But then we're also going to have... So there's the signature blend, then we'll have like a decaf. There's other stuff.
Do you guys blend it on your own?
We have a roaster. Yeah, we have a roaster who is, he gets the beans of origin and he roasts them, and then we do whole beans. But like a blend, what I mean is like they'll take different origins
and blend it together,
and roast it together, or roast it apart and then bring it together. Again, that's a whole science and an art.
Yeah, it sounds like it's so cool. Of course, Nespressos have nothing on, your guys' coffee, but the Ethiopia one is like my favorite pod. So I'm excited. They must have really good, they have really good coffee. So
African and South American beans are like the best.
Yeah? Yeah. See, learning so much already. And then another question that came up while you were talking in regards to competitors, is there like a network? Like, do you guys all kind of like, know each other, or how does that? And that might be a little bit, more of a political question. I guess,
not at all. I'm an open book, and like the coffee community, they're so cool.
Yeah.
So yes and no. We are good friends with other coffee shop owners here in town, and then there's other ones that we're friendly with, and others that we don't know at all. But even like outside of Yuma, we're so blessed with really good connections. We have a friend who's got a shop in Imperial Valley. We have a friend who has a shop in Los Angeles with 4 locations, like big time, operation going on there.
Wow.
And we're lucky to have those connections because they've taught us a lot, even down to like negotiating a lease or, like identifying location and so many things.
And I guess that's kind of why I ask, because we are in the real estate industry and it's highly competitive, but we still have an amazing network, I think. There's a lot of, and you've been around for 10 years and I've been around for 18 years. And it's always refreshing when I can call my cross agent and have a really chill conversation and help each other out and give each other feedback, and I always appreciate that. Sometimes it's quite the opposite, and you take those as they come too. So I was just wondering how
it can be like that for sure. But think about it this way. I mean, even coffee shop owners go through the Starbucks drive-thru.
Yeah.
Like, your sister's not going to go buy a house with a different realtor, but, she might go to...
She might call around and ask some questions. I don't know. I hope not.
I don't know. But with coffee, I mean, you're going to go with whoever has the shortest line, or whoever, if you're, depending on what you need, like, is it speed? Is it quality? Is it a place to hang out? And hopefully we can provide all of that. But, nobody's going to, like, monopolize coffee.
Right. I got you. That's a good perspective as well. So we've talked about your vision. We've talked about when when the projected date is. I want to know where, and you mentioned Daniel has been doing it since 2019, right? How did this even start? Like, where did this come from?
Long story short, and it's such a silly story. It's kind of like the story that I tell.
Those are always fun, like the true beginning stories.
My story of how I got into real estate, which, shout out, I also have a YouTube channel and a podcast. So if you want to go listen to that, you can hear my, my origin story. But I always say it was an accident. Same thing with Daniel and coffee. So we had a wedding 10 years ago, a big wedding. We have big families. And so our wedding gifts, like, we had a lot of Bed Bath & Beyond gift cards. When we bought our house, like, we pretty much bought everything that we needed from the gift cards from our wedding. And we even had money left over. So I think there was like a espresso machine that cost, I don't know, like $200, which this was in 2014. So $200 was like,
Yeah.
So he got it because we had extra gift cards.
You could splurge.
Yeah, we splurged on that. And so whenever we would have friends over, like, we would just make them coffee. But it wasn't this, like, staple in our house. It was just kind of there.
Yeah.
But then he started taking it to, like, friends' gatherings. Like, because it was this tiny little rinky-dink thing, We would go over to hang out at people's house, and he would bring it. And, like, he just became known as the coffee guy. And then he started doing it, with his cart. And now we went from a $200 machine to, commercial coffee or espresso machines, they're more expensive than a car. I'll tell you that.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Like a brand new car off the lot? Just give me
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Carro del año, like, maybe not your car, but like a Ford or something like that. They're so expensive. And again, back to the connections that we have, we're super lucky that, we're not going to be paying retail, but we started with this little, Bed Bath & Beyond espresso machine, and it just kept growing and growing.
So he must have kind of found a passion for it.
Exactly. And we wouldn't be dropping that much money just for a hobby.
God. That is so it was by accident. The best things happen that way.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and you guys have to watch her origin story on YouTube, because you don't imagine. I'm in real estate, well, not by accident, not now, but I started by accident too. Mm-hmm. It was, and I think I've mentioned it on a prior podcast, it was a regular at the bar that I used to work at. And he was like, you should sell real estate. And I was 19. I was 19, and I was like, I don't know what that means. Yeah. And, it was an accident. And then it was like, well, while I go to school, and then it drew me in, and I became passionate. It became my career of choice, right? After graduating from, college and everything. So the best things, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So the best things happen on accident sometimes. Totally. I was curious. I was like, I knew he'd been doing it for a while, but I didn't know, how did this even come about, right? So thank you for sharing that with us. Now, January, guys, mark your calendars and look out. Now, you are, I do think you already have an Instagram account for the coffee shop, right? CreationCoffeeCo. Is that what it is? Just
CreationCoffeeCo, yeah.
Creation, not S.
No.
CreationCoffeeCo. Go follow for updates and, coming soons and all the stuff. And Kassandra does have her YouTube channel on the real estate side. So go follow that too. Are you putting any of that on there? Yeah?
On
any of the coffee stuff on there, or are you going to keep them separate?
No, I think separate. I don't know. Never say never, but real estate is real estate and coffee is coffee.
Right. So I want to wrap up with part of what prompted me to ask you to come on and tell you, but we're not going to talk real estate, which you were probably like, huh? Like, why not? And this is why. And this is what I wanted to shine some light on. As you guys know, yes, I am a real estate broker, but I do other things, right? I'm an entrepreneur in other directions. And, of course, that we will hear and talk a lot about all of that stuff as the time goes on. But with time, I have found that what this beautiful, wonderful industry teaches us opens up a lot of doors, right? And I think that a lot of us have in common that we might wind up in this career path, maybe by accident or by whatever, right? By chance. But if you find the passion for what you're doing and you maximize the opportunities out there, you sometimes find yourself with opportunities like this. Right? That in real estate, you can have not only the financial resources, create and establish the financial resources that may allow you to open up a new business, establish a new business, right? That sometimes at some point was a dream, right? And this dream becomes viable because of your success in real estate, right? Which you cannot achieve without that passion. Right. So I just find that they tie in, but I do find that real estate opens up a lot of doors. Again, for new ventures like yours, which I'm so excited about, financial freedom, time, all of these. Once you establish your business, whether it be in real estate, as a business owner of a coffee shop or, whatever your venture may be, once established and structured, you do get that time freedom back as well. So I just wanted to put that, add that perspective to it. I think that, a lot of times we narrow mind ourselves and, it's realtors do this, but, real estate and entrepreneurs, real estate investors, we do a lot more. And it doesn't mean that we take away from what we do. I'm still highly active in real estate. Hi, hello, and shout out to all my clients. But and the agents, and I think when you do it, when you structure it well, you can do so much, right? And then because it becomes a lifestyle and it just becomes so fun. Yeah. And it's just part of your life. It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like, this is my life. Yeah. And you love what you do. It doesn't take away from the rest. My my daughter, my husband, our kids. It's like, this is our lifestyle, right? And I also see and feel that teaches them a lot, right? To grow up with those values and, watching that. So that's, if you guys were wondering, what are we doing talking about coffee? I did want to know more about CreationCoffeeCo, and I want everybody to look out for your guys's grand opening here soon. But I also wanted to kind of open up not only our colleagues and our fellow realtors and our viewers, followers, consumers, that just the perspective of how much there is out there, sometimes untapped, right?
Yeah. And to add to that, like, yes, it took a long time to get to this place where I can not necessarily step back. Like you said, you're super active in real estate, and your clients don't even know all the other things that you have going on. And I have that privilege too, because of the beauty of this industry and making our own schedule, and the financial aspect of it too. But to add to that, you don't need to be a realtor to have that. Like, that's the reason why I'm so passionate about real estate too, is real estate creates generational wealth. I sold my house to start this business because I had a lot of equity, and it's not because I, made stacks and stacks and stacks as a realtor. Like, yes, this business has been so generous to me, and I'm eternally grateful. But also because of, investing in real estate. So you don't need to be a realtor. You don't need to, be in the industry. You could just be a regular person who bought a house and held on to it. And, all of a sudden it's your nest egg for the next thing. So
absolutely.
At the end of the day, it all ties in.
Yeah, perfectly said, because I yes, I focus on the, what we do, but absolutely. All of these people that have become homeowners, they've created their own wealth, and when you do, and it opens up so many opportunities. So perfectly said. Guys, I think that wraps it up for today. I think that we've left you with a lot to think about, both, again, if you're a fellow realtor colleague, or if you are if you own real estate and you have dreams, right? Whether it be dreams of upgrading and buying a bigger home, moving to a different city, opening up a small business, investing. Yes, it is. The potential is limitless. And I think a lot of, again, going back, I think a lot of times just the lack of awareness, right, may limit us. And that's what this podcast is about, right? Creating awareness and generating engagement, if anything. So I hope that this episode did just that. And once again, thank you so much for coming on and having, the honor to share these news with our beautiful community. And I look forward to just watching you guys and supporting you guys, because this is amazing for you and your family. And we'll have to have Daniel on sometime soon.
Yes. There will be a part 2.
Yes, there will be, once you guys have opened up, and we'll talk about it. Thank you so much for the Coffee Cast. Please remember to like, follow, share, all the things. We are on all the podcast platforms. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.